Yo, what's up, man? I know who it is, man. It's K Sean. You mean I'm back with another video, right? And in today's video, I want to talk to all the fellas in today's video. You hear me? You mean I want to really talk about like how to get any girl that you want. You mean? So let's get straight to it. So I what made me want to make this video is that like I'm a barber. You feel me? So I cut dudes hair all day, every day. You feel me? And I have a lot of conversations throughout all those haircuts. A lot of my clients, they're they in a relationship or they trying to get in a relationship or they dating. Everything that comes with like building something with somebody else, right? And I see something very common, you know what I mean, and most men, you know what I'm saying, at least the ones that I've interacted with, some of the struggles that they may deal with when um pursuing a woman, right? So here's some like tips and some advice I feel like I can give the offer, you feel me? Just based off like my own experience, you know what I'm saying, and my own perspective on the whole idea of like pursuing women, right? So as a man, you feel me, we're hunters, right? So first of all, before I say all that, let me say like let me break down the man, right? So as a man, you're a natural hunter, right? In order for you to get an attractive woman, you have to go, you know, attempt to get one, right? So like that's just a philosophy to keep in the back of your mind, you know what I'm saying, as y'all approaching women, as you guys are attempting to date, attempting to get married, attempting to build something, further beyond yourself. You feel me? So first thing I would say is this, right? Be okay and be acceptable to if a woman's not interested in you. You feel me? Because when you neglect that and you decide to look at it like an obstacle to overcome, which most men do, right? We look at it like, oh, she don't want me. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You mean I'm a excuse me. So most men look at at rejection as an obstacle. They look at it like something to overcome because they may feel like, you know, they may not take rejection very well. Let me start over. So some men, look at rejection, excuse me. So some men look at rejection like an obstacle, right? So a woman might not be interested and they take it as they got to go harder or try harder, right? And that's a wrong perspective to have, right? So I truthfully and confidently feel like I can get any woman that I want, right? But I understand that I'm not everyone's type, right? I understand that. And it's okay that I may not be her type. It's okay that she may not be attracted to me. It's okay that she might not be interested in me. It's okay. And I'm going to tell you why. Because as a man, you got to know who you are. You got to know where you stand. You feel me? And it's not always about what you got to offer, but it's about who you are as a man. You understand? So when I say like what you got to offer, it's not like, oh, I got money or, oh, I'm nice looking or, oh, I'm in shape. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you mean if only she knew, you mean what I got going on. You feel me? That's not always the case, right? At all. You feel me? Um, she just might not be interested in you, bro, and that's okay, right? But once you gotta have a good understanding of emotions, right? You gotta have a good understanding of like reading the situation, right? You should be able to within the first 30 to 45 seconds understand if a woman might be interested in you, right? It might be social cues. You mean when you talk to her, you mean her energy, you know what I'm saying? How she reciprocate the things that you say. You feel me? Is she interested? Is she taking the time to think about what you asking her, what you saying? You feel me? Is she making time for you, right? And once a woman starts to make any type of time for you, she's interested in you. You feel me? If she's not interested in you, you can tell. She's not gonna really take the time to really give thought out answers, you know what I'm saying, or even look at you for long periods of time of eye contact, things like that. Like, or she may be at that moment pretending to be busy, right? So it's like little social cues that you just need to be able to read and understand, you know what I'm saying, when attempting to, you know, get with a woman. You feel me? So that's the first thing you need to understand is that. You feel me? Understand I would call it the art of attraction, right? Understand like, oh, we have an attraction here to one another, right? Because the first thing that you see when you're looking at someone is the way they look. Right, that's the first thing we notice when we deal with women, or a woman is dealing with a man, is the way they look. You feel me? And that right there could put you ahead of the game already. right? If she's attracted to you, you feel me? She's going to, you'll know. You know what I'm saying? If she's attracted to you, it won't be nothing too hard to figure out. Like I said, so social cues. You mean it's not gonna be that challenge, right? A lot of men overthink it. You mean a lot. Some of us, I'm gonna say some of us, not gonna say a lot, but some of us overthink it. You feel me? We feel like we have to do something extra. You mean to get the attention of that other person? When in all reality, if she was already into you, you would already know. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the first thing, right? The second thing is don't be afraid to say no, right? So don't be afraid to, you know, take the time to listen to her, right? I would say that's very important too. Listen to what she has to say, right? Listen to the things that she talk about. Listen to how, she is at times directing the conversation, because a lot of us, or some of us, let me say some of us, I don't want to say a lot of us, because I'm not going to say this is everyone. I'm going to just say some, right? I'm going to just say some of us. But some of us, we're so wired to want to lead the conversation and get things from point A to point B and C, etc., that we don't take the time to listen to the person that we're talking to, right? We're so caught up in how attractive she is and how attractive she looks that we're not really listening to what she's saying. Because if you take the time to listen to what she's saying, you mean then you give yourself the option to know if this is the person for me. And the only way to know that is to know what kind of man you are, right? Know what will work in your life and know what doesn't work in your life. And I would say that that comes with experience. You know what I'm saying? You know, you may deal with a woman like in the past that maybe has some tendencies or some things that she's interested in that maybe didn't sit well with you, right? You might have dated that woman, might have spent a lot of time with that woman, so then now you guys are not together. You now have a collective of information to understand like, that didn't work for me. That might not be my type. You feel me? So, don't be afraid. You mean that if she's really attractive, but she might not be on the same alignment as you, to say no, to say that this might not be the one for me. You feel me? I feel like a lot of times, like, we look past all that. We just go for what looks very good. And we put ourselves in the position of, you know, um, disappointment in a sense, right? And again, I think it's all about your intentions, man. If you want to be with somebody for a long period of time, her character values is very important, because the only way for this to be sustainable over time, you have to understand who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with, right? Cool. So once we make it past all that, I would say the next step is be yourself. That's most important. Be yourself. If you funny, if you goofy, if you weird, if you this, whatever it is, be that guy all the time. Be confident in who you are all the time. Don't never try to change that person. Don't never try to pretend to be something. Some guys pretend to be tough. Some guys see attractive women or get with somebody attractive and they portray this image that they're this tough, superior, super guy, right? And all that's doing is setting you up for failure, right? Because you're creating an image for yourself that's not real, right? Be comfortable in yourself. You feel me? If you're a non-confrontational type of guy, you like to be chill, you like the vibe, you like to hang out, you're not really with all the fighting and all that extra stuff. Be that guy, right? But don't set yourself a failure, but trying to be the opposite, right? Trying to portray like you are this tough, puffy guy because in your mind you think that's what she wants. No, you're setting yourself up for failure, bro. Because understand that in a relationship, or in that situation, you are the leader. So if you're not pure in your leadership and pure in who you are attracting the wrong things to you, right? Because then you got to uphold an image of a man that you created when that's not who you are. So now you set and create expectations for yourself that naturally you're just not going to fulfill. Do I make sense here? Cool. The next step I would say is like oppress a woman by the things that you do. It doesn't always have to be revolved around financials. A lot of some guys, need to flex or flaunt what they have, the money they have, the things that they have, the material things and all that, in order for them to win a woman over. And for me, that's another setup for failure. Why do that? If you living in a 1 bedroom apartment like me, right, and you saving money, you mean trying to build to the next step. You mean be open about that. You know what I'm saying? Be transparent about that. You know what I'm saying? If you mean the situation ever comes to where you gotta tell her, like, listen, baby, I'm saving right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to here. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, that's something that we can get to later on. You know what I mean? If she like you and she down for you and she with you, she'll understand. But if she only wants you for something that you could do for her, then she'll make that very evident too, right? You know what I mean? And like I said, you just gotta take your time with them. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself 100%, 1,000% be yourself, right? No matter who I deal with, no matter what's going on, I know my goal in my mind and where I'm getting to in life. So I'm not gonna set myself up for failure trying to be a man that I'm not with this woman and splurging and spending money because it's only gonna be temporarily. Eventually, I'm gonna run out of money. Eventually, I'm not gonna be able to uphold this image no more. And truthfully, that was never the woman for me if that's all she really wanted. You understand what I'm saying? So if I really see myself wanting to pursue something longevity with somebody, then me taking that route of trying to impress her and trying to win her over with money, or fancy things and stuff like that, that's not the case, right? A better option to take is show your skill set. I might not take a woman that I'm with out all the time or every single weekend or we party all the time, but what I can offer her is a cooked meal. I'm a very good cook, right? Because I am saving money, I learned how to be a very good cook, right? So I can offer her a very cooked meal, right? And when I offer her this meal, I make sure that she's all good. I make sure her table nice and set up. You feel me? It's nice and clean. It's wiped down. I make sure that her chair is at the perfect height and alignment with the TV so that way she can watch it. You know what I'm saying? I make sure that she's comfortable. Make sure that she nice and clean. That she able to take a shower, clean herself up. I make sure that there's a nice candle lit in here. I make sure it's not too cold. It's not too hot for her. You know what I'm saying? I make sure that she got the juice that she want with a straw. You feel me? I make sure that the silver nice and clean, all you mean set up on the table just right, just for her. You mean I make sure the remote is next to her, so if she want to watch something else, she could just change it. She don't gotta ask me. You feel me? You mean you set the vibe like that? You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. You feel me? Because that's something more longevity. That's something that you could do over and over because it's something that you already do for yourself. So now all you're doing is expanding a version of yourself to someone else. Do I make sense here? So that's how you know you meet the partner that you have, and that's how you know the person that you with. If you're comfortable and able to expand the version of yourself to them and be acceptable, right, and be reciprocated. So if I can't expand every area of myself, being goofy, waking up early in the morning, being loud, playing and joking, and you know what I mean, and being fun, you know what I'm saying, then I have to think about this someone that I really want to be with because there's never a version of me that I want to, that I want to conceal or that I'm not comfortable in expressing because of how I think she might reciprocate who I am. I'm a type guy that I go out in public. We go out to Walmart. I'm running around Walmart. I'm sliding on carts. You feel me? I'm having fun. I'm talking to people. I'm joking. Even while I'm with her, I'm running into her. I might be throwing stuff at her. You feel me? Because that's who I am. You feel me? That's how I like to have fun. You mean if I ever got into a situation with a woman where I am expressing myself like that and she may feel embarrassed or she may like disown me or create distance from me or whatever the case may be, then that's not somebody that I will be with. Because I'm not gonna go out into public and try to confide myself in who I am to make my other partner comfortable. Right. So the woman that you pursue or the woman that you be with should be an addition towards whatever you have going on, not a subtraction. Right. So an addition would be she's supportive, she laughing. I'm making her day by being myself. You understand? Not that I'm making her upset or annoyed because I'm being myself. That's not somebody I would want to be with because I'm going to always be myself. I'm only moving up a tier to become a better version of myself. You understand? So for me to try to condemn that version of myself, I'm limiting who I am to be with someone that is not in support of who I am as a man. So that's not the right person for me. And be comfortable with that and be transparent with that and learn how to talk to a woman through an emotional perspective, right? Because women are emotionally driven first and then logically second. And then men are, for the most part, logically driven, right? But emotionally fueled. Do I make sense? So most men think with logic, but some of us use our emotion to fuel the logic. So if we're upset or angry about something, we'll start to plot and think things out from an anger perspective and we'll execute on that. Some women think about how they emotionally feel and they begin to act off their emotions before they even think about the overall logical situation, right? Do I make sense here? So let's get into the you mean into to another part of this, man. Be okay with if something doesn't work out either. Right? Be okay if the vibe is not right. Don't always try to fix the vibe or make sure it's okay because at the end of the day, you mean who I got emotions just like you. I might not be happy every day. You feel me? I'm a supportive partner. You know what I mean? If I see that something bother you, I'm gonna take the time to communicate with you and talk to you and see what's going on and see, I mean, how we can make this better. But I'm not gonna now be down on myself or drain myself based upon how you feel. We're just not gonna do that. You feel me? If you're feeling down and low and you don't want to talk about it, then I'm gonna continue to be me until you're ready to come out your shell to talk about it. But if every time you feeling down or low and in this and you don't know how to deal with that on your own, and not only that you don't know how to deal with that on your own, but you haven't figured out a way to get yourself back to a better place, then that's no longer my fault, right? Because in order for a couple to happen, it takes two to make one. So in order for us to move as a unit and move together, we had to come together as individuals to then make a couple. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm taking on all the burden for you to help establish and improve you as a individual, then I'm overstepping my barriers here and I'm draining myself here to try to help you improve. And that's not how it works. I should be in support of who you are. I should be your number one supporter. I should be here for you. I should be, ready to see you win, but I should also be, you know, uh, um, conservative enough to allow you to be your own and not overly doing things to where I'm doing everything for you. I'm telling you what to eat. I'm telling you what to do. You mean like it don't work like that. You understand? Like we have to be in a position of being able to observe, being able to analyze what is going on here versus want to take control of what's going on here and feeling like the burden is on us to fix it. That's not how this works here. Do am I making sense here? And I know some people might not like that, right? Some people might watch this video, might not like what I'm talking about right now. Some people might watch this video, drop comments, and say things, about my own perspective on how I look at life. You feel me? But that's okay. Because I'm gonna tell you what, life is full of preferences, right? There's some girls out here that like short men. There's some girls out here that like tall men. There's some guys out here that like short women. There's some guys out here like tall women. Do I make sense? There's some guys out here that like dark skinned girls. There's some guys out here that like white girls. There's some girls out here like dark skinned men. There's some girls out here that like white guys. And then there's people that like in between. Life is full of preference. We have the opportunity, especially as men, to create a world for ourselves full of our own personal preference. You understand what I'm saying? So everything that I create around myself is based upon my own personal preference and what I like for myself. Everything that we do is in addition to that, right? So if a personal preference for me is to not be with a woman that wants to go out and party all the time and wants to go out and drink all the time and wants to go out and do things with her friends all the time, there's no wrong or right here. There's just a personal preference for me and what I like for myself and who I choose to deal with for myself. So if I'm meeting a woman who's not in alignment with my personal preference, that does not make her a bad or good woman. That just makes the situation not equal. We're not equal here, right? We're not in alignment here, right? You get what I'm saying? So that's okay. That's not bad. Maybe that should just be your friend. Maybe you guys can have a great relationship as friends, and that's okay. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a girlfriend because you're attracted to her. Learn some self control. It's okay to deal with women and be with women and not want to be intimate with every single woman that you interact or are attracted to. It's okay. That's okay. It don't have to be that. Have some self control over yourself. You understand? And you have to understand again the emotions of a woman. Once you guys start having intercourse and start having sex and shit like that, the dynamics of the relationship will change. So understand the boundaries that you cross once you decide to make that move or once you decide to cross those lines. Understand what can happen from that. Understand what are you sacrificing for that. Right. So if you guys got a great relationship, but you know in your mind this wouldn't be nothing longevity, me personally, I wouldn't cross that boundary on a sexual level because I know emotionally she is not wired the same way as a man is wired. A man can be wired to just do things with different girls and not necessarily have an emotional attachment to each and every one. But a woman is very different. A woman, will do things with men, but they do have an emotional attachment to them. Whether they really like them or not, there's some sort of that for them. Why? Because they are more emotionally beings. They're beings that consist of emotions. You understand what I'm saying? So all those things have to take place You mean you have to understand all those things when dealing with girls. And I would say this too, lastly, and very most importantly, always be a gentleman. Always be a gentleman. Always be a gentleman. Always make things as comfortable as possible for her. You mean always take the time to listen and talk to her. And if there's things or an area that you do not want to go into, express that to her. Right? For example, I could be so cool with a girl that she might touch on the area such as her past relationships, her ex boyfriends and stuff like that, and I would stop her. I would say, hey, listen, um, I understand that you may have went through those things in the past, you know what I mean, and my heart is here for you, but that has nothing to do with me here. I'm looking at building something together within ourselves, and that's all I'm looking at moving forward. Be keep it a being with her, because at the end of the day, you have no place in that. I have no place in your past experience, you mean, and who you dealt with before, and all the negative things you may have to say about that person. I have no place there. We are not about to get into a full dialogue about how you hate your old dude, how you used to deal with that old person. We're not doing that here. And if a woman starts to go into that direction, she might not be over that guy, buddy. I'm gonna keep it a being with you. You feel me? That's the first sign. She might not be over that guy. She's just hurt. She might be hurt by some of the things he may have done to her, but she may not be over that guy. You understand what I'm saying? Because think about it. If I enter into a new relationship, and let's step away from the significant other. Let's step away from the exes and all that. If I enter a new relationship with a friendship with someone, and the only conversation or the main topics of the conversation that I bring into this relationship with a friendship is how much I hate my old friends or how much my old friends did me wrong, what place am I offering or allowing something new with the friendship with someone that doesn't even know who those people are? Do I make sense? If I meet a guy at home, a brother, somebody that's cool, and I tell him how much I hate these old dudes I used to be around, fuck them niggas. If I see them niggas, this and that and all that, what space am I allowing for me and his relationship to grow as friends? If the only thing I bring into the relationship when we conversate is reverting it back to how I hate my old friends. Do I make sense here? So when dealing with women and you're pursuing them, understand that if you give too much allowance about her reminiscing and being in the realm of regret or whatever she dealt with in the past, then where is there any space for us to grow if all the dialogue or conversation that we talk about is really revolved around some sense of healing that individual has to do for their own? No. Allow the space for that person. Allow the space for that woman to become into her own. You mean? For her to be ready to put that into the past and her be ready to move on to something different. Yes, we're all going to have tendencies about things that we dealt with in the past. We might be nervous and scared like that. And it might be times to where there is that intimate conversation to where it's like, hey, like, I really like you a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Some things may have hurt me in the past, so I might be a little bit nervous here when we go down this road. That's completely understandable. If anything, I respect somebody who tell me that. And my response, or hypothetical response, I would say in this situation will say, thank you for telling me that. You feel me? Like, I respect that. You feel me? If there's anything I can do to make you more comfortable, if there's anything I can do to make sure you're okay, please feel free to let me know. No worries. See what I'm saying? Versus me trying to overstep that. Why ain't that dude? Why ain't that girl? Why ain't this? Now you approaching her with aggression. Now you kind of making her feel resentful for even being open and expressive to you. It doesn't work like that. Allow the space. Respect the person that you're with. And this is something that I'm about to touch base on too. That maybe a lot of people might not agree with or fuck with, whatever. I really don't care, truthfully. Can we lose this whole philosophy, this whole, conceptual thinking of that, of a girl being a hoe and too many bodies and all this and all that, so she's no good? That's not true. That's actually not true at all. You understand? For me, the way I look at it like this, I respect honor and loyalty. Whatever you did before in your past has nothing to do with me. Whatever you do from this point on forward has everything to do with me. So if you did anything that's disloyal, anything that is not honorable while me and you are experiencing together and trying to do something together, then that's what I would judge you on. But anything you've done in the past has nothing to do with me. Who am I to make a judgment about what you did before I even knew you existed? How are we gonna sit here and condemn somebody for that? How am I gonna sit here and get mad at a woman who had a past and you mean was allowed to do whatever she wanted to do with whoever she wanted to do it with? How am I gonna get mad at her, upset with her freedom of choice? She can do whatever she wants to do, bro. She was not my girl. She was not who I was dealing with at that time. Now it's different. If I was dealing with you at this time and you did those things while we was together, now I have the space because I have self-respect for myself to say, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna allow you to treat me like that. I'm not gonna allow you to do those things while you with me. So here's the line that's drawn. It's over, or this is not this no more, or whatever it is that I need to address, and I address it at that point. But if I'm gonna hold a grudge, if I'm gonna hold something that you did before I even knew you existed, that's kind of counterproductive here. You feel me, on some real shit? Like I said, I think that's a double-edged sword right there, because a man can be allowed to do whatever he want to do. You feel me? And before he met a girl, and it don't matter. But guys hold grudges, and guys hold, you know what I mean? Like a personal pride insult. If the woman they dealt with dudes before them. Now I think every situation is very situational. You feel me? If you dealing with a girl that dealt with all your friends, and you know she dealt with all your friends, and then you decide to get with her, that's different. You wilding out for that one. That's different. I ain't gonna lie. That's different. You hear me? That's you on your own on that one. You hear me? Cause yeah, that ain't that. You feel me? But if she, if you don't know her, you just met her. You feel me? Something like that. You just getting to know her for who she is right now. Then you move accordingly. You move at that point forward. Like I said, it's important to listen. So it's important to listen. A woman gonna tell you everything. You hear me? If you listen more than you talk, she gonna tell you everything. She gonna confess to stuff without you even having to ask her. But you gotta allow her to have that space to express herself. And while you collect the information, you make the decisions in your mind about what you want to do or not. You know what I'm saying? And if that's why you guys should take the time to get to know each other before you do anything. So if I take the time to get to know this girl and there's things that she's saying, or I can kind of get a better understanding of her mindset, I can understand if this is compatible with me or not. But to try to make that a deal breaker about whatever she did in her past I don't really agree with that, to keep it a being with you. You feel me? So yeah, that's gonna be today's video. Like I said, I kept it short. You feel me? But it was just some information I kinda want to throw out there, you feel me, about, how to really get any girl that you want. I hope I answered it in this video. If I didn't, I'll make a part 2. Just drop a comment down below. Let me know how y'all feel about this. You hear me? Like, let me know what y'all think about this. Let me know if there's any other topics y'all want me to go over. You feel me? To be more clear about. You feel me? But like I said, man, I'm gonna keep it a beam. It's a whole, like, and y'all can take this however y'all want. Especially with today's generation. But it's in you, not on you. You feel me? I could be driving a Honda, a 1991 Honda. You feel me? But I carry it. You feel me? I know who I am. You hear me? I ain't trying to be nothing that I'm not. I ain't trying to press her with something I ain't got. You hear me? She'll respect me as a man for that. Before I see a pretty girl knowing I got a 91 Honda, I go grab a rental, pick her all up, and do all this extra stuff. But and in my mind, I'm pursuing to be with her long term. That's like a setup for failure, bro. You ain't gotta play yourself like that, bro. Like I said, man, be into who you are, be with what you like, love what you love doing, built towards who you becoming as a man, and just be that guy. And you gonna get one, you hear me? But you don't gotta change or try to adjust something to be with somebody that ain't for you. You hear me? It just ain't like that. You hear me? So yeah, I know it is, man. It's K Sean. You hear me? And that's today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, nigga.